Welcome to today's explainer. We are going to totally demystify one of the most crucial yet practically invisible pieces of technology running almost every company, hospital, bank, and school out there. Have you ever wondered how massive enterprises manage thousands of computers, passwords, and user permissions from a single place without their IT teams completely losing their minds? Well, you're about to find out. We're talking about Active Directory.
Here is how we're breaking this down today. First, welcome to the chaos. Second, enter Active Directory. Third, core components of AD. Fourth, security and group policy. And finally, the big picture. Let's get right into it.
Section 1. Welcome to the chaos, also known as the IT nightmare. Because to truly appreciate a brilliant fix, we first need to understand the absolute chaos that caused it.
So picture a massive, busy hospital. You've got doctors, nurses, pharmacists, the billing department, literally thousands of people. And every single one of them needs their own unique username, a password, an email, and highly specific security permissions. How on earth does an organization manage all of that securely without the IT department just rage quitting on the spot?
Well, without a central system, it's a total nightmare. Every single computer would need its own local account set up. If a nurse forgets a password, someone has to physically go fix it. Software updates? Done manually, one by one. But with Active Directory, total relief. You get centralized management. One single login works everywhere across the hospital. You get uniform password policies, instant software deployment, and easy sharing.
Moving to Section 2. Enter Active Directory, the central nervous system of IT.
So what is it exactly? Basically, Active Directory, or AD, is Microsoft's centralized system used to manage pretty much everything on a network. We're talking users, computers, printers, security, permissions, the whole shebang. It acts as one master database, tying your entire organization together. It literally is the central nervous system of your IT infrastructure. To really visualize how huge this is, think about a school with 5,000 students. In an old manual system, you're checking 5,000 ID cards one by one, manually enforcing rules in every classroom, and putting actual padlocks on the staff room doors. Exhausting, right? But an Active Directory system is like an automated master control center. It keeps everything in one central database, verifying IDs and granting access instantly.
Section 3. Core components of AD. Let's look under the hood at the building blocks of this network.
The foundational piece here is the domain. A domain is just a group of computers managed together, acting as the primary boundary of your network. So say a company uses abchospital.local. Every computer in that company, from the front desk all the way to a secure research lab, becomes a unified part of that specific domain. It's the big umbrella over everything. And right at the center of that domain is the domain controller, or DC. Make no mistake, this is absolutely the most important server in the environment. It holds the user accounts, the passwords, the security policies. Honestly, think of it exactly like the principal's office. Everything is controlled from there, and if the domain controller goes offline, literally nobody is getting into the network. Now, to keep all these users organized, AD uses OUs, or organizational units. Think of OUs like digital folders that map perfectly to real-world departments. So the doctors get a doctor's OU with users like Rahul and Amit. The nurses get a nurse's OU with Priya and Neha. And this is brilliant because administrators can just apply rules to these digital folders instantly instead of configuring computers one by one. Let's trace exactly what happens behind the scenes when our doctor, Rahul, logs in. Step 1, he types his username. Step 2, his password. Then, in Step 3, his computer silently reaches out to that domain controller. Step 4, the DC checks its master database to verify Rahul's credentials. And Step 5, access granted. And all of this happens in just milliseconds. Quick detour here, because people constantly confuse two very critical concepts: authentication and authorization. Authentication is simply asking, who are you? It's exactly like typing an ATM PIN to prove your identity. But authorization happens after that. It asks, what are you allowed to do? Getting in is one thing, but authorization ensures that a doctor can view patient records while a front desk receptionist cannot. Two totally different things. Section 4. Security and group policy. Let's talk about the real power of control. This is where we get to group policy, or GPO.
This is, without a doubt, one of Active Directory's absolute superpowers. An admin can literally execute remote commands across thousands of computers at once. Need to disable all USB drives for security? Done. Change the company wallpaper on 5,000 screens? Easy. You can deploy Chrome, push out antivirus updates, or install printers without ever getting out of your chair.
If group policy still sounds a bit abstract, think about this quote: "No mobile phones allowed." When a teacher stands at the front of a classroom and says that, everyone instantly follows the rule, right? That is a perfect real-world equivalent of a group policy. The administrator announces a digital rule, and every single computer in that OU instantly obeys it.
You know those super strict password rules you always complain about? Minimum 8 characters, expires every 90 days, uppercase, lowercase, numbers, special characters, all of it. Well, that's group policy in action. AD keeps the network safe by enforcing these exact requirements for every single user, zero exceptions. You simply can't bypass it because the central database mandates it.
And what about when someone leaves the company? In the old manual days, you'd be frantically chasing down 20 different logins to lock them out. But with AD, you get instant offboarding. An admin clicks disable once in the central database, and boom, that user's access is revoked across the entire network immediately. It's incredibly secure.
Finally, Section 5, the big picture. Let's look at the scale and sum this all up.
We absolutely have to mention the unsung heroes keeping AD afloat, DNS and DHCP. DNS is like the network's phone book. Instead of forcing users to memorize crazy IP addresses like 192.168.1.15, DNS lets them just type in a name like server 01. Meanwhile, DHCP is out there automatically handing out IP addresses so new computers can smoothly jump onto the domain. Without these two, the magic of AD just wouldn't work.
To really put this all into perspective, look at this number: 100,000. That's roughly the number of employees at a giant like Microsoft. Can you imagine an IT team trying to manually manage PCs, printers, and passwords for 100,000 people? It's impossible. The administrative weight would crush them. But with Active Directory, managing at that massive scale is not only possible, it's actually incredibly streamlined.
So, to wrap up this explainer, the AD advantage is pretty undeniable, right? You've got centralized management, bulletproof security, seamless software deployment, and administration that scales effortlessly. It is no exaggeration to say that Active Directory is the absolute backbone of Windows-based enterprise networks across the globe. It takes total chaos and brings perfect order. I'll leave you with this to chew on. Knowing just how deeply integrated this system is, how it touches literally every login, file share, and printer in a building, how utterly vulnerable would an organization be without a centralized nervous system like Active Directory? It really makes you realize how indispensable this invisible technology is. Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and we'll see you next time.